Okay, so we'll get started Lamai, with focus area number 13 of the past papers that is there. You can, Lamai, don't worry. If you're starting to study right now, definitely you can. There is still around 4.5 months to go. And I think I shared a message on the past paper class group. Special Lamai, if you all are not very thorough with certain units, you can, instead of wasting money on, let's say, joining a 2026 class, let's say getting a private tutor out there, what you can do is, Lama, you can get my theory classes, recording and tutor, and you can cover it up. That is very fast and very efficient as well. Each unit has roughly around, let's say, 10 to 15 hours of recordings. So you can even finish it, Lama, in around 3 days. If you allocate around 5 hours a day, in around 3 days, Lama, you can finish a unit. So you can cover up certain units that way. So many people are buying. I have not openly marketed it just to my students that I tell. So right now, there in your batch itself, there is around 500, 600 people who have purchased recordings and they're covering the syllabus that way. So you can get it done. It's very effective. It works as well. So that's up to you in case if you're like very lost, and that you can buy any units, Lama. You can, if the prices of the units that you want is directly not there, just drop me a text. I'll let you know what the price is. Okay. Now, so we'll start, Lama, with unit number 4, focus area number 13. So focus area number 13 is on cost of production. Now, this area, Lama, there is a lot of questions. If you all would have seen the tute itself had around 9 pages. So there was a lot of questions, right? So in total, I think there is close to around essay questions, MCQs all together, around 43 separate questions are there. So today we will not do all of it. We'll do the MCQs. And then next class, we can do the essay questions, and also we can do focus area 14. Focus area 14 is also short. So then in 2 classes, we are finishing 3 focus areas because we need to finish things off also soon. So this class will finish the MCQs. Next class is the essay questions and the entire focus area 14. I'll drop a text on the group so that you all will remember. Okay. Right. So there's another cartoon over here. Just to briefly talk you through this, what is happening? Iran and Israel has been fighting. US, Lama, usually does back Israel. Right? Israel is a very small country, Lama. Even if you take population, land area, they're even sometimes even, I'm not sure about land area, but population wise, Lama, they're even smaller than us. If I'm not mistaken, they only have around 9 million or something in terms of population. Land area, I'm not very sure, but it's a much smaller country than us. Lama. GDP and all might be a little bit higher. But so how is Israel getting so much of power to, run all these wars and all of it? Is they're usually backed by the US. So there is US backing. And when there were certain attacks that happened, right? When Israel attacked Iran, Iran attacked Israel and all of it, what happened? US also directly got involved. US also directly got involved and attacked Iran. They attacked certain nuclear sites that was there. And now all of it has come to a bit of a pause because the US has asked these people not to fight. But the US itself, now US is, they're involving Lama because they also want to dominate the Middle East, right? So US is, so far, they have not directly involved. What they have done is they have, supported Israel, and through Israel, they have tried to, get access to different places. So now what happened was US directly bombed Iran as well. But then Iran is also, Lamai, a very powerful country. So Iran has the backing of China. So Iran is China's biggest oil suppliers, or Iran has the backing of even Russia. So Russia, China and all, Iran has the backing there, Lamai. So US also is, even though they are attacking Iran along with Israel, US is also scared, Lamai, because US also knows what Iran is capable of. I'm not sure about North Korea. I'm not very sure, right? So US is scared. Maybe yes, maybe they have North Korea. I'm not very sure there. So because of that, right now what has happened is US, Trump also has to act like a good fellow in a way. So he's also what has come and he has announced a ceasefire. So he's told both of these countries not to fight, and they're getting there. I don't think he'll ever win a Nobel Peace Prize, but he's acting like he wants to win one. The issue with why the UN is not taking any action, Lama, because they are also influenced, right? Now, UN is also influenced with so much of US, right? US has a big stake in the UN. Because now, if you see the whole Palestinian war and all of it, Lama, Now, in terrorist groups being attacked and killed, that's not a problem. But innocent people being killed is the problem, Lamai. Now, even if you look at Sri Lanka, now Sri Lanka also had a war, Lamai, 15, 20 years ago. We also would have had a war. But even though we had a war, again, let's say the LTT out there, so maybe terrorists getting killed, Lamai, that is all right. But if civilians start getting attacked, then that's not the right thing to do. So there are certain issues with our Sri Lankan war also, right? There are things going in the human rights violations where the Sri Lankan army has gone and, attacked civilians in Jaffna. That's completely wrong there. That is exactly what Israel is doing as well. You attack the terrorist in Palestine, no issue. But what's happening is they're attacking the normal civilians, like normal people like you and me. Normal people like you and me, we have not done anything to them. So that is where the whole issue is, but still it's not stopping a lot because the UN and all of it is also backed by US. So because US is funding Israel, it's not easy. That's the whole point. The purpose of the war is what Israel is trying to do is they're trying to invade Palestine. They're trying to get control of that. They're back with US. So it's mainly US and all trying to get more influence in the Middle Eastern region because the oil and all of that is there. That's what they're trying to do. Okay. Right. So right now it's at a ceasefire. Maybe if things start again, then logically you all should know as econ students what can happen to oil prices. What if the war starts again in the Middle East? What will happen to oil prices? It will start increasing. So that common general knowledge, you all need to know. But you also should know other factors can also affect it. But one thing, it can go. Okay. So we'll start, with the MCQs of focus this. So who will start? We don't know. We'll see. The MCQs of focus area number 13. Now, there are some interesting calculations here. So we'll do it. Listen. So the faster you all give me answers, the faster we will finish off the MCQ. So there is around, I think, around 20 odd MCQs. So yeah, there is exactly 21 MCQs. The faster we do this, the faster I will finish off today's class. Okay, we'll start. The short-run marginal cost of producing a good is indicated by the schedule below. What is marginal cost, Namai? Marginal cost is the additional cost of producing a unit. They're saying, given that total fixed cost is 30. So they're saying the total fixed cost is 30. At what level of output is the short-run average total cost the lowest? So how do you find average total cost? You have to get the total cost divided by the number of units. That's how you get average total cost. Now, there is no total cost here, no? So we'll have to first calculate total cost. How can we calculate total cost? Can you tell me, now here this is 31 unit. When you're producing 0 units, how much is your total cost? When you're producing 0 units. When you produce 0 units, when you're not producing anything, remember your total cost is equal to your fixed cost. You have to still incur your fixed cost. So your total cost would have been 30 at 0 units. The table is telling us to produce our first unit, right? To produce the first unit, the marginal cost is 30. So to produce the first unit, the additional cost is 30. That is what you call marginal cost. Then can you all tell me, when I'm producing 1 unit, what is my total cost? When I'm producing 1 unit, my total cost is a 60. Always remember, what is marginal cost? Marginal cost is the additional cost of producing 1 extra unit. So when you're producing 0 units, your total cost was 30. That is the fixed cost. The question is telling in the table, when you produce your first unit of X, you have to additionally spend another 30. That is what you call marginal cost. So therefore, that is why 30 plus that 30 becomes a 60. Then when I'm producing my 2 units, how much is my total cost? 1 unit 60. The table is saying to produce my second unit, I have a marginal cost of 20. I have an additional cost of 20 now. So then my 60 will become a 80. Third unit, table is saying marginal cost 16. Then my 80 would become a 96. Likewise, Lamai, you can calculate your total cost. No? So can you give me the numbers for the fourth unit plus another 24? That's 120. For the fifth unit plus another 56. How much is that? 196 plus 24 is 120. 120 plus 56. Sorry, fifth unit is 40. No, sorry, 160. Sixth unit is another 56. That is a 216. Seventh unit is a 280. Right now you have total cost. Now what do you need to do? Now you have to find the average total cost. And then you have to see where is the average total cost the lowest. So here, now I'll erase this a little. So how do you find average total cost? You take this total cost, divide by the number of units. 60 divided by 1, 80 divided by 2, 96 divided by 3. This divided by 4, this divided by 5, 6, 7. Total variable cost will be the change in MC, right? Correct. So how much is my average total cost, Lama? At 1 unit, it is 60. At 2 units, 80 divided by 2, 40. At 3 units, 96 divided by 3, 32. At 4 units, it is 120 divided by 4. How much is that? 120 divided by 4, that is 30. At 5 units, it's again 32. Now, Lama, I will stop my calculation there. The question is asking you at what level of output is the average total cost the lowest. Now, I saw after it reached 30, it's again increasing. It went to 32. Now, if you all remember the average cost curve, Lama, how does the average cost curve look like? Average cost curve is a U-shaped curve like this. So once it reaches the bottom point, Lamai, after that, definitely it will increase. Whatever numbers you calculate for here and here will be numbers higher. The next number will be higher than 32. The last number will be higher than whatever the previous numbers. So you can stop there, Lamai. You can be smart because we are trying to figure out where is the average total cost the lowest. So once you see it became the 30, next number is 32. And now after that, it's increasing. So then lowest point can't come after that. So then the lowest point is over here. At how many units? At 4 units. When you're producing 4 units, that is where your average total cost is the lowest, at 30. So the answer is saying, question is saying at what level of output is the average total cost the lowest? Average total cost is lowest at 4 units. Is that okay? Sure. Okay. In 0 units, at 0 units, yes, MC might be 0. Okay. Then 2012. A firm employs variable amount of labor to a fixed amount of capital to produce good X. Then, no, you can't get a question that contradicts a graph. Graph is U-shaped, so it can't change. If the daily wage paid to labor increases, how does it affect the firm's cost? Can you all tell me, this daily wage, is it a fixed cost or a variable cost now? Daily wage, it's a variable cost, right? It changes with the level of output. So if the daily wage increases, what will happen to your total variable cost? Total variable cost. Now you have to pay. Earlier, if you paid 500 rupees a day, now you have to pay 700 a day. Total variable cost will go up. Total fixed cost number. What happens to your fixed cost? Wage goes up, your fixed cost doesn't get affected. Fixed cost will be unchanged. Now this plus this is only your total cost. What do you think happens to your total cost? Variable cost is increasing. Fixed cost is not changing. So overall, your total cost will start to increase. The total cost will start to go up. So which one is your answer then? Variable cost increasing, fixed cost no change, total cost increasing. Answer number 4. Is the screen loading for y'all, what I have written? Or is there a lag? There is a bit of a lag on my end. I was thinking my Wi-Fi is a little bit slow. Audio is okay. So answer there is number 4. Audio is fine. Give me a second. I'm not very sure this Wi-Fi play the fool at certain times. This is on ISLT fiber. Hold on, a screen went. No, give me a second. Library behind me, not everything is my books. Some of it is mine, some of it is my wife has books too, so some of those are from that. There is one row which is mine, probably the row, the one that is on my eye level on the right, that is mine. Give me a second, I'm trying to connect to this. Okay. Okay. No? Okay, back on stream. Okay. So where were we? We were here. So answer number 2012, question number 15. Answer number 15. Yes, I do read. Read Canada. It's like this. So I like to read, but finding the time to read is the hard thing. Because I always have something to do now when I work also full time. I have classes also. So finding the time to read is like my wife reads. My wife stays up late at night and read. Usually after I go to work and I come and do my class. Right after your class, I am like next level flat, right? By around 11:30, my brain doesn't function after that. I'm just done. I'm almost brain dead. I wake up at around 4 or 5 in the morning. I do certain work. Then I go to work. I come back and do the class. By around 11:30, my brain doesn't function. So that's why usually sometimes even your paid classes, recording, sometimes I try to upload it by that night itself. Sometimes I do it on the next day. Yes. Next day morning, I might usually do it. Elsie Silvers, no, not that I read, my wife reads. She's a big fan. Elsie Silvers, Anna Hongs, who is that other one? There are different people. This is the first one. First one, the answer was number 3. Number 3. Second one we did was answer 4. Now the third one. Okay. Now 2013 A levels. I stay up until 11 because I have to know when my class goes until around 10:30. And then after 10:30, I go to eat actually. I don't eat early. I eat at around, that's why I think I'm getting fat also. I eat and then by that time I'm flat, I just go to bed. So 2013, question number 16. To increase its labor force from 100 to 101, a firm has to increase daily wage rate from 600 to 650. Calculate the marginal cost of labor. Now, this is a question, a lot of people make a careless mistake. How do you calculate marginal cost? Marginal cost is change in total cost divided by change in your labor. So when you have 100 people working in your firm, you have to pay 600 rupees per worker. Then how much is your total cost? Yeah. Yes. How much is the total cost now? When you have this thing, 60,000. Now, when I have 101 workers, now the firm is saying to have 101 workers, 101 workers, you have to spend 650 rupees. So then how much is your total cost? Your total cost is 65,650. Then how much is your total cost changing by 60,000 became 65,650. It changes by a 5,650. Okay. It's change in total cost line. Marginal cost is just, sorry. You can take labor as well, no problem. The addition, you can take labor, you can even take number of units. That's all right. Okay. So then how much am I getting as my change in total cost? My change in total cost is a 5,650. My labor is changing by a 1 unit. how much is my marginal cost? My marginal cost becomes a 5650. Answer number 3. That is how you get your answer. Now, some people, you make the mistake, Lama, you just think of 600 is going to 650. No? Therefore, answer is number 1 here. Then that is wrong. Remember, you are look at how is the total cost. Chain. One more thing. So some of you ask me, Lama, why I don't give the recording of this class, right? Eventually I upload it on YouTube. I don't regularly upload it, Lama, because I don't want the class to be taken for granted now, because I'll just tell you right now, I got so many messages today also saying, sir, I have this, sir. Can you give me the recording? Sir, I have this, sir. Right. Now today also, Lama, even I had a family dinner. Okay, I also have a family dinner. Everyone at my house is gone. I am alone at home. I am doing this class. I'm not earning a single cent out of it. I'm staying at home alone and I'm doing my class. I have no food to eat right now after the class is over. I have to find something there as well. Everyone else is gone, which I could also have told you all. I also have family dinner. I could have gone. But if I can make that sacrifice on Friday nights, I also have things to do, Lama, on Friday night. Not that I am just at home looking up and waiting and I'm doing this class for fun. So if I can sacrifice my things and if I can do the class, you as a student, you're the one who has the exam. I'm not the one who has the exam. Right? You're the one who have the exam. I'm doing it completely free. The least that you can do is do the questions and come to class. So I will put the recording. Eventually, I'll put it on YouTube, but I will not put it the very next day. Normal paid classes now within 24 hours, I put, because the moment I put it the very next day, you all take it for granted. If I find some free time, which I have nothing to do, then I will put it on YouTube. But the problem is finding that free time is very, very hard. Okay, so that's 2013. Going to the next one. 2013, question number 17. They're telling us an economist calculates that a firm has incurred the following production cost over a course of a year. Okay. Wages, opportunity cost of owner's time, raw materials, all of that is there. They're asking you, by how much does the total cost defined by an economist exceed the total cost defined by an accountant? So you all know, Lamai, an economist looks at both direct cost and indirect cost. An accountant only looks at direct cost. So they're asking you, how much is it different by? Now, what you can do is, Lamai, you can add all the cost, explicit, implicit, direct, indirect, correct. You can add, Lamai, all these and see how much is the total accountant's cost, how much is the total economist cost. Can you all give me those numbers, Lamai? How much is the, now, I'll just label these. Wages and salaries, Lamai, is a direct cost. Opportunity cost is owner's time, indirect. Cost of raw materials, direct. Rent, direct. Marketing fees, direct. Interest on bank loans, direct. Interest foregone on the finance part by the owner, that is indirect. So if you add all the direct and indirect, Lama, you get the economist cost. How much do you all get there, Lama, if you add all of this? Economist total cost, 360. Okay, 360,000. If you add all the direct cost, then you get, Lama, the accountant's total cost. Accountant's total cost is how much? That is a 305,000. So question is asking you, not this 360 or 35. They are asking you, by how much will an economist cost exceed the accountant's cost? By how much is it exceeding by? This fellow is saying 305. This one is saying, no, 360. So he's saying it is 55,000 more. So your answer there is number 2. Now that's how you can do it. But there is a shorter way of doing this, Lamai. What's the faster way of doing this? How can you get that 55,000 without doing all of these additions and all of these calculations? The difference between, Lamai, a economist cost and an accountant's cost is the indirect cost. The difference between these two fellows is the indirect cost. So if you add the two indirect costs, this is 40, this is 50. Add these two, you will get that 55,000. Because that's the difference between these two people's cost. If you want, you can do the full method. But MCQs, you can be smart enough and get it done. So answer number 2. Then the next one. 2013, there's another one. Question 18. A firm reduces its workers. What does the last cost say? Last cost in interest foregone on the finance cost. That's the when the owner invests his own money, he has to forego the interest. Now, for example, I had, let's say, 1 million in a bank, which I'm earning interest on that. Now I withdrew that 1 million and I invested that in my business. So because I invested that on my business, I have to sacrifice the interest I could have got from there. That is what that last one is. Okay. Okay. Firm A produces, firm A reduces its workers from 250 to 200. So there is firm A. What have they done? They have reduced their workers from 250 to 200. And as a result, output decreased from 5,000 to 4,800. So output 5,000 went to 4,800. Firm B, there's another firm, increases their workers from 800 to 1,000. 800 to 1,000, they increase their workers. And as a result, output increases from 2,000 to 2,200. They're asking you labor productivity. What is labor productivity, Laman? That is the output per unit of labor. So if you look at firm A, earlier when they were hiring 250 people, they can produce 5,000 lamai. Then how much is their labor productivity? How much can one person produce? 250 people can produce 5,000. Then one person can produce 20. Now how much is their labor productivity? Now they have reduced their labor to 200 and their output has gone down to 4,800. Now how much can one person produce? Now one person can produce a 24. Right. So what has happened, Lamai, to their labor productivity? Firm A. Firm A's labor productivity 20 has gone to 24. It has increased. Firm B, Balan. Firm B, what happened? Earlier, 800 people can produce 2,000. Then how much is that? 800 divided 2,000 divided by 800? 2.5. Their labor productivity is 2.5. Now 1,000 people are producing 2,200. Now it is 2.2. So what happened to their labor productivity? Firm B, labor productivity came down. It decreased. So which one is your answer then? Easy calculate. Looks like a difficult one. Simple one they're asking now. Answer is number 2. Labor productivity of firm A rises, firm B, it falls. Good. Then going into the next one, 2014. The shape of the total cost curve, that is not 1,000. It's 2,000. Which one? Correct, right? My numbers? Yeah. The shape of the total cost curve of a firm in the short run is determined by your total cost curve. If you all remember, it looks like something like this total cost. You can even draw a straight line. But how does this shape of this total cost come down? The shape of your total cost curve is determined by the shape of what? Look at this graph and tell me. Your total cost curve shape looks like which cost shape? It looks like your variable cost shape, no? That's what they're asking. The shape of the total cost curve is determined by the behavior of the total variable cost. The curve looks like just like the variable cost. If the variable cost is increasing rapidly, total cost will also increase rapidly. If variable cost is flattening out, total cost will also flatten out. Anna? That's the answer. That's a very easy, simple MCQs. Then the next one, 2014. Question 16. Even if the average fixed cost of a firm continuously decreases, it will never become zero. Correct? They're asking why. Why, Lamai? Now, if you take the average fixed cost curve, you all would have seen it continuously comes down, right? Comes down, comes down, comes down. But it never touches zero. Why does it never touch zero, Lamai? Because how do you calculate in the short run, Lamai? How do you calculate fixed cost? Average fixed cost is total fixed cost divided by the number of units. Okay. Now, we'll take my classes. For me, Lamai, let's say a fixed cost will be my admin salaries. So let's say, Lamai, for my admin, I am paying a salary of 50,000. Okay. If I have, Lamai, 100 students, how much is my average fixed cost? My total fixed cost is 50,000. number of units, I have 100 students. My average fixed cost is then 500. If I have my 1,000 students, then how much is my average fixed cost? Admin, I'm still paying 50,000. Average fixed cost is a 50. If I have let's say, I don't know, 1 million, billion, or whatever number of students, will my average fixed cost be zero, Lamai? No, right? It will be 0.0000 something. No. So why they are asking you, why does it not become zero? Why does it not become zero, Lamai? Look at the calculation. In the calculation, you will see why does it never become zero? Because there's always a numerator. No matter how much you produce, no matter how big your denominator is, your denominator could be 1 trillion, no 100 trillion, no trillion, I don't know. Denominator could be so big, but your average fixed cost will never be zero, Lamai, because there's always a numerator. What's the numerator? The numerator is the total fixed cost, because there's always a fixed cost. Your average fixed cost, that's why never becomes zero. And that's the same reason why the average cost and the average variable cost also never touch each other. The gap between AC and ABC is average fixed cost. They will never intersect, because if they are intersecting, that means if average cost is equal to average variable cost, that means they are intersecting, means average fixed cost is zero. Average fixed cost never becomes zero. So if AFC is never becoming zero, those two will never get together. So answer here is number 5, Lama, because there is a fixed cost. That's why the AFC never becomes zero. And the same question, instead of asking about AFC, they can ask you about this. They can ask you, why does the average cost and the average variable cost, why do they never intersect? The reason for that is AFC never becomes zero. Why does AFC never become zero? Because there is a fixed cost. So remember, they can twist the question around and ask. Okay. Then the next one. 2015 A levels. Okay, this is also a very easy one, Lavai. The vertical distance between total cost and total variable cost. I'll draw that graph again. What's the vertical distance? Here you have, Lamai, the total cost curve. Here you have the total variable cost curve. What's the gap between these two curves? The vertical distance. The vertical distance between those two curves is what? That is the total fixed cost. How to protect yourself from chikungunya? Be careful of the mosquitoes. That's the problem. So answer is equal to the total fixed cost. So also, guys, one more thing on your end also, be very careful with all of these diseases going around, especially very closer to the exam level. Because I've had students, right, really smart people, but 1 week before the exam level, they get very sick. And they have got dengue, they have got, different things, and A levels missed level. You can't do A levels, and you're in the hospital, you're in a very critical stage, you can't do A levels. So then one entire year, you will have to wait to write it again. So I pray and hope that it doesn't happen for you, but be very careful. Be, don't go out too much in the rain and all of it, right? Don't get wet. Be careful with even your house. Product, keep it clean. If you all have a garden and all of it, check on the mosquitoes, right? Especially when it rains and you all have these cups and all of it, mosquitoes can breed. So be very careful. Now, this chikungunya, dengue and all is not easy. So, and even if you get it now, that still now is the time period that you are studying so much. So that can also get affected. At least be glad that you're getting it now instead of getting it 1 week before the exam. But still be very, very careful. So get, eat healthy food, have your this thing, maybe have a bit of vitamin C that you have at home also to be safe in the cold and all of it. And usually what I do, Lamai, at home, even if I feel like I'm getting sick, I soon go and get medicine, Lamai. Now, some of you all wait until it gets worse. No, or a Panadol, like you drink a Panadol and say, wait. And then at one point you realize now it's very worse. Now you go to the doctor. So earlier I also used to do that. But then I realized now that way, it becomes a huge loss for me later, because if I fall very sick, all my classes start getting piled up. Right? Even if I take a break for a week, then next week I will double the classes. Right? I have, let's say, 7-8 classes a week. Next week I'll do 16 classes. Can't do. All my office work piles up, it becomes crazy. So what I usually do is, if I feel like little even I'm going to get sick, I take precautions. I soon go to the doctor and get something. When I'm going to the doctor, I'm not serious, but I tell the fellow, look here, I have so much of work. I don't want to fall sick, just do something. So then they give me certain stuff. I get it done, I feel better. So you can follow that approach as well if you want. But usually sometimes parents don't want to go to the doctor because sometimes it becomes a waste of money. They say, we'll wait for 1 or 2 days and we'll drink some Pandol and see. Once it gets worse, you go. Then yes, you will spend the same amount of money, but it's a big loss for you. So you might have had during O-levels as well. Be careful. So come in 2016, in the short run, if a firm produces nothing, which cost will be zero? Let's say if I have no students, next month I give you all a break. I tell all of you all, now my next month classes holiday. Which of my cost will be zero? My opportunity cost, my variable cost, my fixed cost, my average total cost, my total cost. Which one becomes zero? My variable cost. If I give you all a class holiday, I don't have to print tutes. My variable cost will be zero. But just because I give you a class holiday, can I tell the bank, next month bank loan interest given a bank? So I can't, my fixed cost, I have to pay. So there is a fixed cost and there is a total cost. There is a total cost and there is an average total cost. And opportunity cost is the addition of the total, all the costs. There is an opportunity cost. The one that will be zero is your variable cost. That. Then the next one, 2017. 17 is saying, if there are implicit cost of production, implicit can be indirect cost. So if there are indirect costs, what can you tell about accounting profit and economic profit? Now, how does the economist calculate profit level? Economic profit is total revenue minus explicit cost and also minus implicit cost. How does an accountant calculate profit? Accounting profit is total revenue minus only explicit cost. Now, so if there is an implicit cost, whose profit will be higher? Let's say there is an indirect cost. Let's say like a foregone income of the producer, something. If there is an implicit cost, I remember, accounting profit will be higher. Because I think if there is an implicit cost, this will now, for example, total revenue is 100. Both have the same revenue. Direct cost is 50, direct cost is 50. Okay. And let's say in addition to this, there's an implicit cost of 20. Now, accountant will record a profit of 50. Economist will record a profit of only 20. Sorry, 30. So whose profit is higher? Accountant's profit is higher. When there is an implicit cost, economist deducts that as well. So when he deducts that cost, his profit becomes low. Accountant doesn't deduct that. So accountant's profit will be much higher. So which one is your answer then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If there are implicit cost of production, accounting profit will exceed economic. Easy one. Then the next. 2018 question 70. When a firm is producing zero output, total cost is 300. What is this 300, Lama? When you're producing 0 units, explicit means zero cost, correct. When it's cost, it's the other way around. What do you mean? Don't memorize it, Lama. Just practically try to figure that out when there are implicit costs, how it works. Okay. This is your fixed cost, correct. Okay. When the firm is producing 5 units, the total cost is 630. Can you break this total cost for me, Lama? From this 630, how much is fixed, how much is variable? Fixed cost doesn't change, no man. Even at 0 units, you had a fixed cost of 300. So then still the fixed cost has to be 300. That means the balance 330 has to be the variable cost. Now, I didn't even read the question. Question is asking, what is the average variable cost of producing 5 units? How do you find average variable cost? That is your total variable cost divided by the number of units. මේ තියෙන total variable cost. You divide it by the number of units of how much? 5 units. So 330 divided by 5, how much do you get? That's your average variable cost at this. Answer 66. Answer number 2. Done? Easy. Then next one. 2019. 19 question 6. Consider a firm is employing variable amounts of labor, fixed amount of capital. If the daily wage paid to labor increase, same thing they copied, no? If daily wage increases, now daily wage is the variable cost. What happens? Same thing we did before. Variable cost will increase. Total fixed cost will be constant. Total cost will increase. Which one is your answer then? Answer number. Same thing was there before. Number 4. And there also it was 4 if I'm not mistaken. So they have not even changed your answers. Done. Then the next one, 2019 question 18. Oh, they're saying, if only one firm in a perfectly competitive industry experiences a technological breakthrough. There is one firm now, perfectly competitive in Telvilu farmers. There are 100,000 farmers. One farmer has come up with a technological breakthrough. Maybe all the farmers are manually, let's say, plucking this one. This fellow has found like a tractor or something. He has found a technological breakthrough. Right? That lowers only that firm's cost of production. So only for that farmer, now the cost is low because he's come up with a new technology. Which the following correctly describes the effect on the firm's price, the output, and the profit. What can you tell about that firm's price level? A firm in perfect competition is a price. But one single firm is a price taker, right? Just because they have a technological breakthrough and all of it, will the price change? Just one firm, no, they are saying one firm has, so price will not change. Now, price can't change. But what do you think can happen to that firm's output? What do you all think? Now think of a farmer. We look one farmer. He has found a new technological way to produce his crops now. Right? He has come up with a technological breakthrough, right? Maybe a tractor hurry. Now some way he's this thing. What can happen to his output? His output can increase. Now, if technology improves, his output can increase. And also, what do you think can happen to his profit level? His output is increasing, maybe because of the technological breakthrough. Maybe the cost of producing could have also come down. And earlier, if he had to hire 10 people and do it, now he has come up with a machine to do it. So his individual profit might also increase. So then which one is your answer? Practically think this way. One farmer can't affect the price, so his price won't change. But for him, what will happen? So simply to summarize this, what has happened here? There is a perfectly competitive market in that one firm has got a technological breakthrough. They have come up with something new, way to produce their good technologically. So let's say we do farmers. There are 100,000 farmers. One farmer has found a way to produce, let's say, much more faster, or some way he has come up with a technological new thing. So as a result, they are asking you, what will happen to that firm's price, that firm's output, and that firm's profit? The price, I am saying, will not change, because why? A firm in perfect competition is a price taker. He's a small person from the total market supply. 100,000 farmers, this fellow is just one farmer. He can't affect the supply. So then firm's price won't change. But his output might increase because he has come up with a technological breakthrough. Now he might be able to produce faster. So his output will increase. And if he's selling more output, that also means he might be able to get a more profit. His output will increase. Maybe his cost of production can come down. His profit will actually increase. That's how we get answer number 4. That's a good question, I feel, from all these questions that we did. Could be a question that you can put a star and keep. Then 2020. Which of the following statements is correct? Monopoly lamai, the price might change. What can I say? Which of the following statements is correct? Accounting profit equals economic profit. No, accounting profit is not equal to economic profit. Economic cost equals explicit plus implicit cost. Correct? No, direct plus indirect. Looks correct. Economic cost equals explicit minus implicit? No. Opportunity cost equals economic profit. Opportunity cost equals economic cost. So then wrong. Accounting cost equals implicit cost. No, accounting cost equals explicit cost. So then answer number 2. Easy ones, you know. Then coming into 2021. So we have 4 more papers to go. The table below shows the total cost of a firm at a different levels of output. Easy lemon. No, opportunity cost is direct plus indirect lemon. Opportunity cost is not just indirect. So according to above information, what is the average variable cost of producing 6 units? Easy. Can you all tell me according to this question, how much is your total fixed cost? Read the table. When you're producing 0 units, you have a total cost of 100. Always remember, see, they don't directly give you fixed cost, but they tell you at 0 units, this is the cost scale. So total fixed cost is 100. So then at 6 units, your total cost is 238. Can you break this down like earlier? How much is fixed? How much is variable? From the 238, 100 is fixed. How much is the variable? 138 is the variable. So they are asking you for average variable cost. So then 138 divided by 6. How much do you get? 138 divided by 6, you get 20. And that is your answer. So easy ones, right? These are not difficult ones to have. So answer number 1, 20. Correct. Then the next one, 2022. Economic profit can be calculated as accounting profit minus what? So from total revenue, if you minus direct cost, that is accounting profit. This is what you call accounting profit. So from this, if you minus something, Lama, you can get economic profit. What can you minus? From this, if you minus Lama indirect cost or implicit cost, what do you get? You get economic. Same thing, no? So total revenue minus direct cost is called accounting profit. From accounting profit, if you minus indirect cost or implicit cost, you get economic profit. So answer number 3. Easy, no? Do you all feel these questions are easy, not hard? I don't know if you're feeling this is hard. That's a different story. I feel it's very easy because I'm going very fast also. I feel everyone is answering on the chat box. Game akne, you know, you're handling this. Then 2022, there's another one. Which of the following cost will continuously? Accounting cost plus indirect cost is economic profit. No, accounting cost means direct cost. So direct cost plus indirect cost is total economic cost, not profit. Accounting profit minus indirect cost is economic profit. Right. Which of the following must continuously decrease as output increases in the short run? Now, we drew this graph before also. I showed you. As output increases, something is continuously coming down. Which one? Now, total variable cost, it increases. Total fixed cost is flat. Average variable cost decreases and then it increases. Average total cost also decreases and increases. Which one is continuously decreasing? The average fixed cost. Remember I showed you. The more and more you produce, it comes closer and closer and closer to 0. It will never become 0, but it will continuously decrease. So answer number 5. Done. Then 2023. 23 is giving question 17. The table below shows the total cost and profits. Interesting. Huh? Total cost and profits for different levels of output sold by a firm in a competitive market. This is a good question. According to this information, when the firm increases its sales from 20 to 30, price falls. Price can interesting. How are we going to get this level? Now, how are we going to get the price? Can you all tell me how you all approach this without me spoon feeding this? What can you get, Lava? You can't get the price from total cost divided by quantity. Then that is average cost, not average. How do you all also no? Now this is where you didn't logically understand. Right? Remember, total revenue minus total cost is equal to profit. From your revenue, if you minus cost number, it will equal to profit. Now they have given me cost also, profit also. Make up the if I get the total revenue, now you all know my total revenue divided by number of units is the price. No? So first I'll calculate total revenue. Shall I move this equation around? So total revenue will equal to profit. I'll take the cost to this side plus total cost. Okay. So then shall we find total revenue? Profit plus total cost. 600 plus 600, that is 1,002. 800 plus 700, 1,005. 1,000 plus 800, 1,008. So now see, now makes sense. No? This one minus this one is only this. Total revenue minus total cost is only profit. 1,002 minus 600 is 600. 1,005 minus 800 is 700. Right now, our numbers are correct. So now, total revenue alone is not enough. You have to find the number of units. So the price, the output is there. How much is the price? 20 into how much is 1,200? Or in other words, 1,200 divided by 20. How much do you all get? So total revenue is equal to price into quantity. They have given, we have got revenue, we have got this, we got price. So 20 into 60. Price is 60. 30 into how much is 1,500? 30 into 50. Price is 50. 40 into how much is 1,800? 40 into 45. And we have now completed the table. Now, based on this, we'll try to answer the question. They are saying, when the firm increases sales from 20 to 30 units, the price falls by 50. Does the price fall by 50? It falls to 50. 60 becomes 50. Does it fall by 50, Lavai? No, it falls by 10. Now, see, be very careful. It's not falls by 50, it falls to 50. It falls by only 10. So first one is wrong. When it increases 20, 30, price falls by 60. No, price falls by 10. 30 to 40 units, okay, price falls by 40. No, it falls by only 5. 30 to 40 units, price falls by 5. And could be correct. When you go from 30 to 40 units, the price is falling by 5. Correct? No? 50 is going to 45. So that could be your answer. And the last one is saying 20 to 40, price falls by 5. Never 20 to 40, now 60 becomes 45, falls by 15. So then answer is number 4. How many of you got this correct? I think a good question to think and get. A little bit different from the ones that were there before. You got it right? Good. Proud. Nice. Then we come to another one. 23, question number 18. So 18 is asking, which of the following statements concerning short-run cost is false? The wrong one. We'll see. Average total cost and average variable cost are U-shaped. Yeah, average unit price, correct. Is that correct or wrong? Average total cost and average variable cost are U-shaped. That is correct, Lemon. If you all draw the curves, you know. Okay. The gap between average total cost and average variable cost is marginal cost. Is it marginal cost? The gap between average total and average variable. I showed you all this before. I told you the gap will reduce, but will never become 0. This gap is the what? Average fixed cost. No? It's not the marginal cost. So this one is the one that is wrong. That can be our answer then. We look at the others. The gap between average total cost and average variable cost narrows as output increases. Is that correct? Does the gap narrow between the two? Yes. But it will never be 0. Marginal cost curve cuts the average variable cost at the minimum point. Yes. Marginal cost curve cuts average total cost minimum point. That is also yes. So these are all true. Then which one is the one that is wrong? Answer number 2. Again, not hard. ADC will never intersect ABC. Yes, correct. Okay, let me come to the last 2 questions. 2024. A firm facing diseconomies of scale. Now, diseconomies of scale කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? Long run, okay. What is happening to your average cost? Long run average cost? Increasing or decreasing? Diseconomies of scale. Long run average cost is increasing. So look at which one. Economies of scale is where my long run average cost is decreasing. Huh? Diseconomies is where average cost is going up. You're inefficient. So which one is your answer? A rise in the marginal cost in the short run? No. A rising long run average cost as total output increases? Unnothing. Rising total average cost. Decrease in average total cost in the long run? No. What is this line? A decrease in the average total cost in the long run. That is called a decrease in the average total cost is called, that's called economies of scale. Economies of scale. Increase in output greater than an increase in inputs. What is this called? No, marginal cost long run. No, in our syllabus. What is that called? 4th one. Increase in output greater than increase in inputs. Increasing returns to scale. Returns to scale. So not 3, not 4. A constant long run average total cost regardless of total output, that is constant returns to scale. So answer number 2. Done. Then the next one, 2024 question number 80. That's the last MCQ. With this, I will finish off the class. Very productive day today. The table below shows the firm's total cost and the marginal cost at different levels of output. Remember, Lama, this was the same as before, no? So tell me, what is the average fixed cost of producing 5 units? Easy, Lama. When you're, okay, now think, when you're producing your first unit, you had a total cost of 250. Okay. Think. To produce the first unit, you had to additionally spend 50. Can you tell me then if I was producing 0 units, how much do you think my total cost was? The additional cost of producing the first unit is 50. Then if I'm producing 0 units, my total cost would have been 200. Remember, same thing was tested in the previous question in a different way. Now to produce the first unit, I have to spend the additional 50. Yeah. So why did I find for 0 units? What is this cost at 0 units? Out cost at 0 units, that is my fixed cost. So they are asking for average fixed cost. How do you find average fixed cost? Total fixed cost divide by number of units. So I work one step back to find my total fixed cost. That is 200. Number of units is 5. How much is my average fixed cost? 40. How many people got that correct? Again, a good question to work back and see whether you logically understand the story. Good. Nice. So total variable cost level, from the total cost, you minus the fixed cost. Variable cost will change with the level of output. You have the fixed cost as 200. From whatever number you minus fixed cost, you will get variable. Okay, good. So how did you all do out of, I think there were 21 MCQs. How much out of 21? At least around a 15, I feel is a good enough mark. 15 out of 21. Questions were not that hard, Lamai. Good. Nice. Nice. Nice enough. So what we'll do, remember, 23, sorry. So just to let you know what you have to do now, next class, Lamai, I will do the essay questions, and I will do all the essay questions of this. Plus, next class, I will do Lamai focus area 14. 14 is actually short. It's the basics of market structures. Perfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic oligopoly, just the characteristics. So if you can see the tute is there in the group, no, it's short level. So do the essay questions of this and the entire focus area 14 and come. So then next Friday, we will discuss those two. Then we only have one paper left. That is the perfect competition one. We can get that done. Right. So with that, we'll get it again. We are done. If anyone has questions, now please do stay and clarify. See you. Yes, now it's my time to find some food. See you all. Bye bye. Hope you all also have dinner and sleep early. See you. Bye bye.